Welcome to Centre Sportif de Voice. The Schuylkill Hinto Brews have just come out for a warm-up. O'Sullivan shoots from the point. Kick save. To LaPointe. To Madison. Oh! Madison gets laid out, and he's taking time to get back up. He lets it go. He blockered it away to O'Sullivan. And a slap shot from O'Sullivan. Boom! O'Sullivan delivers a huge hit, and he looks hurt. Wow! Richardson lays him out. Oh! Gendron gets crushed. This could trigger a brawl. To Walters. Walters lets go a cannon. Beaulieu stacks the pads. To Gendron. To Walters. Great save. Keister from the slot. Wow! Great save. Beaulieu to Fenton. Fenton letting it go. They're controlling the play in this one. Hit the post. Oh! Fenton hammered him. Someone's got to drop the gloves after that one. The Hinto Brews get the momentum. On a breakaway. Ace takes a chance. He denies it. Watch out. Ace absolutely levels him. Oh! Giovanni is decked hard onto the ice. Banner lets it go. Scores! Wow. Nice hard shot. The Schuylkill Hinto Brews have taken the lead. To Barrett. Shoots. Great save. Takes a shot from behind the net. They keep applying pressure. Shoots and rolls. Scores! Now that was a good goal. Just too fast for the goal. The Schuylkill Hinto Brews extend their lead. It's the last minute of the period. He denies it. To Uhl. They get rid of the laundry and get down to business. Mason with a solid right. Richardson with a solid left. That will do it. The crowd is unhappy to see this one going this way, as he took a couple of bad punches in this tilt. And now he's got to fight. Sterling with a solid left. Down they go. The fans love it. As it only took a few shots to finish this fight. Fenton wins the face. To Banner, he gets a stick on it. O'Sullivan lets it go from the point. That's the end of the first period. The Schuylkill Hinto Brews 2, Les Voyous de Quebec 0. Fenton wins the draw. O'Sullivan dumps the puck. Wow! LaPointe levels him out. He caught him with his head down. Fenton wins the faceoff. To Banner. To LaPointe. Fires the puck. Rings off the pipe. No! He got decked into the boards. To O'Sullivan. And a shot by O'Sullivan. How did he see that one? To Madison. Watch out! Madison gets laid out. They're gonna dance. O'Sullivan with a nasty hook. Down they go.
Take that while you're down there.
About this one, and he's already covering his face after only a few shots. Sterling wins the draw. Williams shoots. Glove save. To Giovanni. To Leclerc. Oh! Leclerc gets blocked. The Hinto Brews are on fire. Banner letting it go. Gets it with the block. Oh! It's going to be offside. Now, Chief wins the faceoff. Watch out! Goff delivers a huge hit. He gets a shot away. Hit the post. They keep applying pressure. Fires the puck. Goff. Boom! Uhl blocks him. He went down like a ton of bricks. To Uhl. It goes to the point. Oh! Uhl gets are getting out-hit in this game. Madison clears the puck into the zone. Whistles for offside. Chief wins the draw. Boom! Gaspar goes down, and he's not going to take much more of this. He loses the puck. Here's the last minute of the period. Aaron fires the puck. Great save. Wow! Walters with the heavy hit. Les Boyous are being out-hit in this game. Huge stop. That's the end of the second period.
The Schuylkill Pinto Blues
2, Les Boyous de Quebec 1. Sterling wins the faceoff. And a howitzer from O'Sullivan. Kick save. To Tate. Oh my! Now a few fights have broken out. Leclerc comes with a left hook. O'Sullivan catches him, and down they go. The fans are visibly upset after that exchange. As he's shaken up from this fight, now we're going to get a tussle. Williams with a solid right. Williams with a big left. That will do it. The crowd did not like the outcome of this exchange, and it did not take much to get him down. They challenge each other and get rid of the gloves and sticks. Chief with a nasty right. Oh! Chase nails him with an uppercut. And now we've got a fight. Monahan with a nasty left. Boom! Monahan with a big up. That will do it. This was a fantastic exchange. And boy, were there some good punches. And now the fists are going to fly. Fenton with a big right. LaRose catches him with a right cross. That will do it. The crowd is on their feet as he caught him with a few well-placed shots. They're going to drop the gloves and go. Wow! Uhl nails him with an uppercut. And down they
Not very good at all.
The fans love it. And boy, were there some good punches. Now we're going to have a square-off. Oh, he just... Chief wins the draw. Let's it go. They have them hemmed in their own zone. They're controlling the play in this one. Boom! Jarvis blocks him, and that looked ugly. Boom! Stoner gets leveled, and he's lying there motionless. Walters takes a chance. Clockered away by Beaulieu to Stoner. Boom! Roth hammered him. I think he's ready to drop the gloves. Takes a chance. He denies him. To Walters. Another great chance. Are you kidding me? To Ruth. To Madison. To Fenton. He throws another hit to Easter. To Banner. To Walters. He gets a stick on it. To Uhl. He lets it go. Rings off the pipe. They have them hemmed in their own zone. He centers it. To Fenton. They can't seem to get out of their zone. Petit manages to find that puck. To Keister. Fires the puck. Great save. Mason on the doorstep. Scores! What a beauty. Goalie was badly beaten on that.
Travis, what's up, bro?
Pulling away with the score. Takes a chance. Beaulieu with a glove save. To Jates, to Blair. to be offside.
1 second left. He just popped in just in good timing and broke the win.
The Schuylkill Hinto Brews.
Hang on to win this nail biter.
The Schuylkill Hinto Brews.
3, Les Voyous de Quebec. 1.
I envy you, because where I live, Travis, nobody can make a cheesesteak except for if I make it on my own. I can make a good one, but I like a restaurant one. Yeah, we don't have anywhere, man. I've tried them all too. I went to Mr. Sub. I know that's not a place to go for one, but it was about, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, and I thought, you know, what the hell, because I had a craving for one, so I was like, I never had one from there before. I'll give it a try. It was about $11 Canadian. I guess that'd be about, you know, $8-9 for you. And I got the cheesesteak, and it looked all fine, and then got home, and I found the bun was like almost borderline stale. Like, you could just tell, you know. And I gave most of it to the dog, about 90%. That'd be cool. Well, I have one that's kind of like around the corner. You'd have to drive. Well, you could walk, but you're pretty fucking far. So I don't live right in town. But I like the one video you've seen there with Mamma Mia's. The one I like the best is the United Restaurant. That one where I'm outside and without Tiny, and I got the pizza inside the trunk. That's the pizza I grew up as a kid. Fuck, that's good pizza. They've been making it, the same family, since 1976, I think it is. The mom and pa, they retired, and the son took over about 10 years ago. But it tastes identical. It's just a little on the pricey side. And it's kind of strange because it's a small town of 1900. I wish I had a menu here and I'd tell you, but like a medium pizza, this is like Canadian dollars, of course. A medium pizza that pizza I got was a medium house special, and it cost me almost $30 Canadian. And if I was to get that exact same pizza from Mamma Mia's, that cost $23.25. So, and plus I had to drive like 7 miles for it. Yeah, it is. There's this other guy that I became friends with because I watched a lot of his reviews. Like friends, like YouTube friends, you know, like, and he's from Canada actually. He's from I'd say about 3-hour car drive from me. Well, he's in the city and he's doing like his reviews, and he tells you every single time what the price of the pizza is, and he only does pepperoni ones. And I tell him some of the reviews, and I've told him, man, he's getting like from like a mom and pop place, not from like Domino's. He's getting stuff for like an extra large, or large, sorry, he always gets a large for like $12, right, or $15. And I tell him, man, where I live in my part of Ontario, she said, you're looking at like $25 pizza. He's like, for just pepperoni? Yeah. He's like, that's crazy. But small town, man. See, real quick example, when I was a teenager in this small town, this exact town, like when I used to come by like you didn't buy CDs then, like tape cassettes when I was in high school, like, you know, like Twisted Sister and Van Halen and stuff like that. It costs a lot, right? And then I had a friend that lived in Belleville, which is about a 25-minute drive in a car. And my dad used to work in Belleville forever, and one time he dropped me off. I stayed the weekend, and I had some money, and I went and bought a whole pile of cassette tapes of bands I liked, because like I can't remember the price, but let's just say it was like $5 in Belleville, where my buddy lived in the city. where I lived, it was like friggin' $12. It's like, wow. How far am I away from Toronto? About 2.5 hours by car. Yeah, see, I'm in between. I'm like pretty much in between Toronto and Montreal. Montreal is very close, just as close. They're both just as close, identical, pretty much. I haven't been to Quebec in a while, but oh yeah, I've been there. I went. Me, an ex-girlfriend, my buddy, his ex-wife, but was his girlfriend at the time, and another buddy of mine that sometimes plays Fallout with me. We went up. All of us went up. Got this big package, nice hotel and all that for Philadelphia, Montreal, and I've been there a couple other times for other games, but not with them. I only go up there just for a game, and been to a whole pile of Ottawa games. That's like that close to Montreal. Quebec is just like right there. How different is Quebec? Well, if you can't speak any French, sometimes they'll act like they can't speak English, but not all of them. Oh, they think of themselves very different, and they are different. But like, I know a tiny bit of French, better, not much, but we had to stop at this gas station, and we're trying to get directions to our hotel, and the guy didn't know what the hell we were saying, and I was trying my best. And he kind of knew what I meant, and actually the directions he gave us were pretty close to being right. And then I was just like, then I asked him for the keys in French to the bathroom, because one guy had to go to the bathroom with us, and the other guy was like, just ask him in English, can I get the keys to the bathroom? And he's just stood there like he didn't know. And I knew he knew. And then I was like, fucking asked him, man. It's like, est-ce que je peux aller à la toilette? And he's like, fucking, here you go. Because I don't know actually what the law is now, but when I was in high school, if you couldn't get your grade 12 unless you had your grade 10 French. Is their culture? Oh, it's beautiful culture. It's so different. It's one of the most. It's so different. Well, I can't say it's like one of the most different in Canada. It's so unique because there's certain parts of Canada that are unique. Like if you were to go out east, like Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, it's kind of like the accent's kind of like Canadian Irish. Yeah, and that's a beautiful place. That I've never been to. I have friends have been there. Almost all my family but me have been there. But back to Quebec. Quebec has this like really amazing culture. They're very, they're kind of very Euro-like, because of course, their roots are France. But they like to party and they have lots of festivals and they have this big winter carnival in Quebec. I imagine it's going to be canceled now because of this COVID shit, but it's like world famous. And like I think like the logo is like a snowman looking thing. And yeah, it's like really, really cool. No, not really. There's parts of Quebec that are like just nobody speaks nothing but French, and there's lots of small little pockets where people just speak mostly English, but French, but mostly English. And then there's the same thing. For example, the province I live, Ontario, right next to Quebec, we have places here that don't have that. Most of the people only speak French, and it's in Ontario, like Hearst. Hearst is near Ottawa, which is close to Quebec. Hearst, Ontario, they're all French there. They don't. And then when I was 17 years old. I was working up in Chapleau, Quebec, or Chapleau, Ontario, up real north, and then they all spoke French, and I didn't know. I was like 17. I didn't know hardly anything of French, and I had to have other people help me, like a child, like a child, not like an adult. You would if you were in a hurry. I'd be annoying, but if you were like a little old lady or an old man or something, you'd pause and help me out. because I haven't spoke it in ages because I haven't been there in ages, but now I couldn't talk to them like you. I could only more like talk like sentences and things for what I need. Just basics, really basically. I wouldn't be stranded. Like I could get somebody to help me, and things like that for basic stuff, and I'd be able to find a way to get home and all that stuff. It wouldn't be like totally like it wouldn't be like as if I was in Germany. Then it'd be like, oh my god. Yeah, yeah, probably. But you know how like down in New Orleans, how that used to be owned by the French at one time, and they still have a lot of the French culture and a lot of the parties and stuff. That's very, like kind of like that French culture, that Euro. Man, the Euro culture really. They really like to drink and eat and party and have like an event. And we have these pockets all over the place. Like for example, in Ontario where I live, up near Toronto's a place called Kitchener, and Kitchener's like basically was built by the Germans when they came over, not during the war, like when the Germans came over, immigrated. So you go up there and we have like these Oktoberfest stuff, like festivals, and they're hardcore, like just like you are in the States, and well, not as good as Germany, obviously. Yeah, well, they sure speak French here. There's still, like I said, there's even in my, like I said, even in Ontario, there's lots of little towns that they don't hardly speak English. But those are like more closer to Ottawa, much like Hearst, Ontario. They pretty much all speak French there. Yeah, there's these Native Americans. I've never met any before, but they live up in Quebec. They got a reputation for being a little rough. They're called the Métis, Meti, I believe is how you spell it. And the only way to be a Métis is it's a French Native American, and they're pretty. They got a reputation basically for being pretty fearless and tough. Yeah. There's also some towns I don't know them, but they don't do it no more. But back in like the 50s, right into like the 70s and shit, like most of the people would like speak like Dutch and shit. Like we have like little towns like that, but they're not like that no more. But the French ones will always be the same because they have laws too, because to protect their culture, and they're pretty fierce about it. They're like the one province that like. It's pretty hard to immigrate there if you're from another country, because they want you to be, to be able to speak French for one, not just move in there like you're from like East India and nothing. But people that come from East India that live there, they can speak French. No, I haven't met many people before. I've met Crow or pretty fucking hardcore name. The guy I knew, he wasn't a friend. He was a friend through a friend. Every time he was drunk, man, he was always wanting to fight. Not with me, with just anybody in bars or anything. Kind of like he wanted to fight with anybody that wasn't in our crowd, sort of thing. But when he was sober, he was like quiet like a mouse. And he was covered in he was a nasty looking guy. Met tons of Iroquois. They're not as crazy. Maybe they were probably pretty crazy at one time, back in the day, but they didn't seem any different. The ones I basically know are the Tionaga Mohawks. The Mohawks, yeah. Yeah, I've dated a Mohawk. Some excellent friends from a kid to this day are my friends that are Mohawk. Played hockey with them. Went to school with them. Yeah, Mohawks. They immigrated up from, I think, New York. Back in the day, they joined the British. and the British gave them a bunch of land, which was their land, but the British let them keep a bunch of their land in exchange for helping in the War of 1812 against USA. USA didn't reward any of the Native Americans and they promised them, and they didn't reward them anything. They just took most of their land, but we gave them what our natives, we gave them what they wanted, and they helped us, and we stayed friends. And no, yeah, well, you know, like from my area, like I would say the majority of the reserve is not really well off money wise. There's like really rich people because they own all the gas stations and shit, and they own the land, and then there's just like your middle class, and then there's a huge chunk of people that just don't do fucking nothing. Yeah, we got a lot out west. The ones that are out west in Canada, mind you, I'm not speaking for everybody, but a lot of them are not very happy with the white people, and they don't like whites too much. And their communities are gated, you know, and they have like guards there, like, and they're dressed like police officers and everything, and you can't get in unless you show your band card. But the one that I live at, or you know, that's just around the corner, they want your money, and they don't give a shit if you're white, blue, green, yellow. And you come in and you get gas, and their gas is tax free. I don't smoke cigarettes, but their cigarettes are tax free. Their marijuana's tax free. They have bingo up there for for people like their bingo, and the prizes are way bigger than they are when you come to my like white town of Napanee. But yeah, we don't. Ours don't have a casino, and I've always wondered why not. Because, my God, if I'm gonna I'm gonna do this with the camera. It's better to do it in the summer, and I'm gonna go down this little stretch of road for you. It's a highway road, and I'll do it for you and everybody else who watches. And you're gonna see all that's down there for like a couple miles. Just gas station, pot shop, gas station, pot shop, gas station, pot shop, gas station, pot shop, gas station, pot shop. All the way down, like as if it was like house. No, gas station, pot shop, gas station, pot shop, and it just goes all the way to this great big giant skyway thing called the Skyway Bridge that goes to another community called Picton, which is kind of like used to be like a farming community. They have a big cement plant out there. Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to show that to you. It's fucking nuts, man. When I was a little kid, and then you drove by that same stretch of road I'm talking about, it was just fields. Just fields, maybe the odd house. Now it looks junky. It just looks junky. I even said to people, and they all agree with me. They say, hey, yeah, you're right. Yeah, it doesn't look like it used to. It used to look like native land. Now it just looks like a commercialism. Charlie Brown wouldn't be happy. Because you picture, remember when Charlie Brown was upset about commercialism? And then he went and he saw Snoopy's fucking doghouse. It was just covered in fucking ads and lights and shit, like fucking. And that's what that strip of road looks like, and that's what, sadly, I'd say 30% of the reserve looks like, and it's not a big reserve. Yeah, but I first moved to this town, the town I live in now. My parents moved to Deserano, and Deserano's like, touches the reserve, like touches it. And when I first moved there, I wasn't treated very well by the natives. They didn't like me, just because I was white and an outsider. Took like, I'd say, to be honest with you, Probably took about 10 years really to get on their good side. Like the majority of them. They just didn't trust you, didn't like you. Oh yeah. Mostly if they don't know you. Get some teenagers and stuff, man, and not even just that. There's even older people that they don't want. You're not supposed to be there. They'll let you know, and they carry guns, like not on them like Americans, but they'll go to their kitchen, walk in and grab their gun and come out with a rifle and say, "Fuck off my land," or they're not allowed to shoot you, but that's not saying they won't. But in a lot of places, like they're just been drinking all week. You don't want to go up there. And there's other places that are just nice and sweet. Just like going to like some place where, I don't know, Wilbury or something. I don't know, just some real nice place. There's like, because I don't want to give you the impression they're all like that, because they got like brand new buildings that are like municipal buildings. They got schools, firehouses. Brand new cop place that looks as on par with anybody around here. They have their own police force. Yeah, it's not like it's all bad, but but if you're white and you're driving your car through, there's like a one main road because you go right through it, you're not gonna get no problem. But if you're snooping around and way down on some of them roads, then yeah, it could get dangerous unless they knew you. But like for me, like I could probably get in trouble and get hurt because the young crowd don't know me no more. You know, I'm past that. But if it was like say 25, 30 years, even 40 years ago, I could walk up there and not have any fear. Yeah, they have what's called North American status. Yeah, so yeah, they can go across the border and no argument. They can live in the States. They don't have to go through the whole citizenship. At least that's the way it used to be. I don't know how, to this day. Things could change every week. Like for example, when I was when I first moved to Desrano, if a white, okay, this is how it went. If a native man married a white woman, the native man still kept his band card and his status. But if a native woman married a white man or a non-native, she lost all of her status. Well, they changed that, I think, when I was in like high school, so a native woman didn't lose her band card or rights. And that sounds shitty, you can say, but the reason is because, you know, it got to a point where they realized the herd was thinning out, and they got to stop outsiders from breeding with the natives, or else there won't be no more natives. They have like town council and everything, like how every little town does, and instead of the mayor, it's called the chief. And they have like counselors and everything, you know, like a treasurer, just like a normal town. And they have elections every like 4 years or whatever, like normal. And they have this thing called the lodge. And the lodge is this place where you kind of like a town hall where you can go, and they have like meetings like a certain, maybe Tuesdays and Thursdays. If you have any complaints or problems or issues, or you just want to know what's going on, you go there, and then the mayor and the council shows up for their meetings. And yeah, it's not like everybody's just sitting around drinking whiskey doing nothing. No, I'm not saying that you said that. I'm just saying a lot of people got a bad impression of the reserves and stuff. And the one that I live at, like I said, it's like not all chained up, and they like everybody. And of course, there's little dangerous spots, but no, nobody speaks Spanish here. You'd have to go to the city because there's little pockets in the cities always of communities that speak that. Like when I was in high school, what was I in grade 11? Yeah. I met this Spanish exchange student, and the person he was living with this was a woman, big fat woman, and she wouldn't let him out of the house, and she made him a slave. He had to like clean the house and all this shit. I was like, "Are you serious?" His name was Enrique, and I just called him Ricky. He was like Enrique. I just called him Ricky or Rick. So, like, my parents had taken in a couple kids. A couple of my friends over the years had bad parents, and took them in for a few months. One guy was a year. So I was telling about this Spanish guy. My mom said, "Well, you know, if she would take over the program if I could figure out how to do it." So I went to one of the high school counselors with Ricky, and Ricky told the high school counselor, like, "I'm being treated like a slave," and the counselor was upset because that's not how we want you to experience Canada. So anyway, all the paperwork got done, and this woman was mad because the government gives you so much money, and the woman was keeping the money and giving Ricky nothing. And my mom gave the money to Ricky here. And Ricky be like, what is this for? What you do? What you do this for? And my mom be like, it's your money. I don't need it. Here, you need money like anybody else. And he smoked cigarettes too, and he was like so happy. And he had a friend mail down a couple grams of hash in the mail. It was like all flat and everything, and we smoked it right up in my bedroom. Yeah, Ricky. And there was two of them, but the other guy where he lived, everything was good. Two came down for our high school. It was Ricky, and the other guy was Javier. Javier could hardly speak English, man. That's all you gotta understand. I liked him though. They were drinkers. They asked my boss one time to get him I used to work at a pizzeria, and they asked my boss one time. My boss just loved them. If he could get them each of them a bottle of wine, and they would pay him because they were like 18 or whatever. And my boss gave it to them, and they opened the bottle and walked out and started drinking it. Just like walked out of the pizzeria, my boss comes out, "What are you fuckers doing? Get in here!" And they come in, and they didn't know because they said that they can walk down the street where they live in Spain and drink a bottle of wine. The cops don't say fuck all as long as you're not driving. And the other thing I never forgot. He told, just a second, I think my dog wants out here. This wants out. Not totally. One of which? The other thing I thought that was really cool was he told me that when in Spain, he said there's one time I remember I said to him, what do you think that's better about Spain than Canada? Little things. And he's like, well, I'll tell you one little thing. He's like, in Canada, you go to McDonald's, you order a Big Mac fry and a large Coke. He goes, in Spain, you order a Big Mac, large fry, and a beer. And I'm like, seriously? He's like, yeah, you can get whatever you want pretty much to drink at McDonald's in Spain. I'm like, wow. He's like, you got to understand our culture. It's like, I can't remember what he told me the drinking age is. I can't remember. It was like 16 maybe? I don't know, 15. It wasn't as low as France. I think France is like 13 or 14, but yeah, and I was really back then I was an artist, and then I kind of got out of it. I used to love oil painting and stuff, and I was really into, before I even knew him, I was really into Salvador Dali, and he's Spanish, and so we had this little thing where when I got talking to him outside one day, this is back when I did smoke, we were in the smoking area before he moved in with me, and I got talking to him back and forth, and then when I brought up Salvador Dali, he's like, you know who Salvador Dali is? I'm like, of course, who don't? And then we hit it right off, and then the other guy, the reason me and him hit it off, because I knew a lot about Franco, and he told me that the dictator Franco, his dad, loves Franco, and he said his mom sometimes would give his dad trouble because he said his dad has this little head statue of Franco about this big, just a head monument, and his dad will put it on the dashboard of his car and get drunk and drive around in his area and put his hand out the window, Franco. And I'm like, what do the cops do? And he goes, cops don't do shit. It's like, and I'm like, I thought you said about the drinking and driving, and they're like, they don't do nothing. But these guys didn't live like right in the city. I can't remember where they lived. They kind of like lived in like towns like me. They weren't like living in Madrid or anything like that. And the other thing they got a kick out of, I don't know if you're... Oh yeah, you play video games. Nintendo, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. They used to get a kick out of Don Flamingo, the boxer from Spain. Don Flamingo. Yeah. Yeah, I miss them guys. I've had I had a good life, met some pretty interesting people, and excusez-moi. Those guys are really cool. That's like sometimes where people get racist and stuff, like I can understand this or that or reasons, fine, whatever, but there's not a race that I could not have a real good friend with. Anybody, any race in the entire world, and same with a female, like any colored female, like all women are beautiful. If, you know, no, well, not all of them, but you know what I mean. Do you know any Americans in person? Yeah, but yes and no. They weren't like my friends. When I was a little kid in Deserano, right across the road, 2 houses down across the road, so it wasn't like directly, it was like right across the roads here, and then like 1-2 houses. There's these Americans from, I think they're from Syracuse, and they owned a house there because it was owned by, they were like older ladies, like, and they had a young granddaughter used to come down. Oh, she was cute. That's why I used to go over there sometimes, just me and my friends trying to get in with her, but we were only like 12 back then when we met her. But anyway, and just them, they were the only ones that I knew because they came down every summer, every winter. They were in the States, and then when it was like beginning of summer, they stayed there till the fall, and we used to like go over and talk to them on their porch and stuff, and see their license plate in New York with the Statue of Liberty holding up the torch there on it. I remember that, the white license plate back then it was. I don't know what color it is now, but no, because I met people at work that were like from the Philippines and the States. I'm talking like when I worked at Lafarge cement plant, and New Zealand. Met a few Kiwis from New Zealand, but they were just there for like a month or two, and then they've gone somewhere else. They weren't permanent. So yeah, and then same in high school. There was another guy who was an exchange student from Australia. His name was Angus. Holy fuck, I couldn't understand a word he said, and he was so, and he wasn't like he just didn't fit in. I don't know, something was wrong about that guy. I don't know, like mentally he was fine, but yeah. But back to that American thing, no, and even I'd say I make more talk more to Americans now than I do ever because of the internet. Like I don't go to chat rooms or anything, but like I'm talking like YouTube and a couple people on Facebook. Like for example, I met this one guy. Like I like the Philadelphia Flyers, and I saw on Facebook it was live. I wasn't like following him or anything. It was this guy, and he was doing these Philadelphia Flyer podcasts. And I used to watch him and talk to him faithfully back and forth. And then about 3 years later, he got started up like a website, and he really went hardcore. And he hired like people that were like reporters, and he got a press pass, and now he's one of those guys that has the press pass, a season press pass, and he's a Philadelphia Flyers reporter. And I knew him just talking to him on like some guy doing a video on YouTube, and he didn't have no supporters, none. He still has a YouTube channel, and he only has like about 300 people. But I ended up winning an autographed hockey puck, and he sent me a free T-shirt for his website, and that's like, you know. Guy's American, to me, he's just as good as a Canadian. Because I've had my brother-in-law once, because my brother-in-law works a lot of culture and countries, and he asked me, what do you think of Americans? And I said I think of them a lot better now than I did growing up, because the only time I really met them, like where I told you when I was a kid, when I worked in Chapleau, I was working in parks, like provincial parks, like camping parks, and the Americans there that I encountered, they were like really rude, and this one place where I was working in July, these guys had skis, and they were flipping out because there was no snow. And we're like, what do you mean? And I'm like 17. I'm having to listen to my boss, who's like 21, argue with these people in their 40s or 50s. And they're like saying they got ripped off, and they were under the impression like that we have snow here yearly. And they went to the park and they had the skis and this luggage thing, everything on there, and they paid for their camping. And it was like hot as fuck. Like probably like 85 degrees. And they were mad. They weren't just like, and they were mad and rude. And I was just like, wow. And that guy's like, that guy's like, see those license plates? And I can't remember where it was from. He's like, those are the assholes of the park. And then another time, we have a Ministry of Natural Resources fucking vehicle. We're stuck on this road with nowhere. Our battery died. It's a government vehicle. A government. It even says on it, we were waiting for a car. We need a car. Our radio died. We couldn't do nothing. We're stranded, and we're like 20 miles away from anything. The only car that finally comes by is an American car. It goes slow, and it just keeps going. We saw the license plates. We were so mad. Next car that came about an hour later was this little old man or little lady. I'm sorry, I can't remember. Stop. You boys need some help? We must have been out there for a couple hours until that fucking old person showed up. But yeah, then I was like, oh, fucking Americans. That was probably the most I ever disliked Americans, was by the age of 17. And they even drove slow, man. They just and looked at us. You could see them. There was like a man, a woman, and a bunch of like kids, and they're like gawking at us like we were like in a zoo. And we're not like looking at them. We're waving our hands, and plus, we're not dressed in like a t-shirt. Like we're dressed like, you know, in like uniforms. Yeah, well, the other thing is, too, is I've always say the other side of the coin, people are people. So, like, if you ever come to Canada and you encounter a rude cashier or something, remember, people are people. I don't think it's the same Canada that it was from, let's say, the 30s to the 90s. I don't know. Something's changed. It's maybe, no, not being racist, but it's probably immigration because, you know, different cultures and you're not doing the same old no more. And we do have a lot of culture. Like, you go to Toronto, and that's like, in a way, like going to New York City. I mean, like, we got our Chinatown and little Greek areas, and you know, where it's just them that live there. You know, you don't have like you or me live there. It's just a complete, that culture lives there. We have like, you know, like Little Italy in Toronto, the same thing, man. It's not quite like that in Montreal. Yeah, I remember I was talking to my mom, oh, I don't know, maybe a year or so ago, right? And it just popped in my head, she used to like watching the Waltons, big time. She probably still would if it's on. Maybe it might be on that Deja Vu channel, but anyway, I told her, I said, oh, I know this guy lives up in Virginia, and it's like fucking, because she knows, like, you know, Virginia Waltons and that. And how you know so many Virginians? So, oh, he's on the YouTube there. It's just like, oh, that was back when that was back when you had like all your food reviews. Well, in a way, but no, because you're on the other side. And I'll explain here. That's my problem. Canada and USA look the same, act the same in certain ways, but they're not in any way, because, like, one, You guys have like, okay, they moved it. I don't know where it is now. I should know, but not that it really matters. But in all of okay, look at Canada. We have more land, less people. You have less land, more people. Okay, so I understand that, but I'm just saying for all of Canada, we have one maximum security friggin' prison. For all of Canada, you got one in there. A whole bunch in every state, not just one. And I know you have more people, but I'm just saying, like, there's an example. The crime, I think it's a big part has to do with the guns. That yeah, you guys are legal for guns, but still here if you go to Toronto, it's all illegal guns and tons of gangs. It's not like Barney shoots his wife Betty. And if he did, in Canada, his gun would have been registered. Where in the States, it's just like, registered or not, everybody's getting killed with a gun or something. You guys like violence more than us, which is kind of weird because the only violence we like is hockey, and Americans don't like the violence in hockey, the majority of them. Like a lot of hardcore American fan, not hardcore, I shouldn't say that. Casual, that's better. A lot of casual American hockey fans, they don't like the part of the violence. And that's what I even mentioned to my dad a long time ago, because my dad and I just love our hockey. And I said, how come the Americans love violence so much for their movies and everything? They just love it. But when it comes to hockey, that's where they draw the line. And he's like, I've always wondered that myself. Which is weird. I don't get that. I mean, you get a brawl in baseball and everybody just, yeah, and anytime they're fighting any American sport, the crowd's just loving it. It's hockey. I'm not saying you don't see the arena flipping out, but the casual fans that the NHL's trying to get more of these casual fans to make us bigger. Those guys are like, well, this is kind of neat, but the fighting's a turnoff. What? How can the hockey be a turnoff? And then that same person shuts the game off and goes and watches like Predator. Well, it's because Predator's not real. Yeah, but you guys love your UFC. Not that we don't. America has loved boxing and wrestling since like the beginning of friggin' American history. Well, I guess it would be UK. We're kind of like the same as you because everybody came from. At the beginning, everybody came from like basically Europe and came to both of our countries. And how it came was like the British came and the French came and the Spanish came and everybody was claiming land all over. Like the British had a whole bunch of USA and they owned it all pretty much, and then by the 1812 there was still some pro-British areas, and then when we won, I know everybody knows America would win now, but back then when war was fair, and we beat the invasion, they signed a treaty, right? And we owned USA. We took Detroit. I remember telling Bob this. We took Detroit. And USA said in their little peace pact, can we please have Detroit back? And we're like, all right, here you can have it back. And then Bob said to me when I told him that, Bob's like, I wish Canada kept it and then we wouldn't suck like we do now, because that's like where Bob's from, eh? Like he doesn't live he's from Michigan, but he doesn't live like right in the city. I seen his when I sent Bob a hat and a mask and a rubber glove. I looked on Google Maps, and you can do like a zoom in, and you can see like where he lives, his exact address. And yeah, where him and Bucky live. Bucky lives in New Mexico. They both looked like they lived in real nice neighborhoods. Yeah, Bob doesn't live in that shit. Like I said, nice looking suburb. You can pull back that Google thing there, Google Maps, and I saw a nice big green lawn, neighbors got in-ground pools. It kind of looks like a little suburb here. So I know him and Bucky both live in a nice community. I would want to. I'd be scared. I'm not lying. I'm telling you the truth. I'd be scared shitless driving at nighttime downtown Detroit. I don't know if you ever seen this before or not, Travis, but Randy, the wild horse, I mentioned it to him, and the funny thing is, he knew what I was talking about because he watched it. There's this black dude. He's a pretty big guy, and he does these videos, and he goes to the most dangerous, darkest parts of the city, and he'll go slow through with his car, and he's filming it, and he'll stop at stores and talk to people. And then Randy said to me, I don't know how that guy don't get killed. And I said, because he's one of them. He's like this. Okay, then you know. He's a big black dude. Like, if it was a white guy like you and me driving through there, we're going to have a little bit of a chit-chat. But that guy, yeah, that's his name. Wow, you did. I forgot his name, but once you wrote that, yep. Well, I guess now you and me and Randy, we all know. That's nice when people know what you're talking about, so they don't think you're, like, making bullshit up. Because, like, somebody on the other side might be like, yeah, right, some guy driving through those parts. But, no, but he's not like White Charlie. He's Charlie Bow. Exactly. Oh, fuck yeah. Well, here's a little Spanish for you. Uno momento. One moment. Yeah, I seen him. He stops at like stores and shit, man, and he talks to the teenagers, and they come up to him, and they're so nice to him, and they're like, "Hey, dude, are you filming this?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's going on YouTube." And they'd say, "Can I say my YouTube or can I say my Twitter?" And he's like, "Say whatever you want." And they're like, "Yo, man, yo," and they're like, "Yo, check me out on Twitter or whatever," and you know, Baltimore. I know fuck all about Baltimore except for when I was a little kid. They beat the Philadelphia Phillies for the World Series, and I was watching it, and I wasn't happy. I was this little guy. I was cheering for the Phillies. Yeah, I don't know nothing about Baltimore other than Baltimore Orioles baseball. And I don't even hear nothing about Baltimore, you know what I mean? Like, it's like one of those places I forget that about until somebody mentions it, I guess. Yeah, but like every place in the States sounds like so fucking rough. Like if I was to live in the States, I'd want to live like somewhere like in a small town like West Virginia or something. Because I sure as hell wouldn't be living in any city, I can tell you that. Like, I love my Philadelphia Flyers. I'd go there to watch the game and stay the night in the hotel and go the fuck back home. Yeah, like, we have one that... Oh, it's about 25 minutes from here. It's called Kingston. It used to... Here's a little history for you. It used to be the capital of Canada. Kingston. 20 minutes that way. The reason it's not the capital anymore is because during the War of 1812, the Canadian government got worried because right across the river, right across the water from Kingston is New York. So they got worried that New York could come in and take over our capital, and you know, every time your capital goes, you usually lose the war, morale's gone. So they moved the capital from Kingston to Ottawa, and it's been in Ottawa ever since. And here's a little bit more history for you. The very, very, very first Prime Minister of Canada, I'll have to film this for you. Yeah, I should. The very first Prime Minister of Canada, the very, very last speech he ever made is here in the town that I live in, except for I live on the outside. And we still have the town hall. We still have the balcony outside where he stood and addressed the people. I'll go film that and show you sometime. John A. Macdonald's last spot where his very last speech. He was. I remember I told Rob that story. The reason I told Rob because Sir John A. Macdonald, our first Prime Minister of Canada, was born in Scotland. So that's the reason I was telling Rob about that. And Rob thought that was pretty cool. He's like, I didn't know your first Prime Minister was born in Scotland. I'm like, yep. I love history, man. I'm not like Mr. Know-It-All, but I love history, and I love it so much. I've dug into I've really dug into some pretty deep shit. Like for example, like the pyramids and things like that, those mega structures and stuff. I wouldn't put my life on it because that's too much, but I'd put $1,000 down that what I'm saying is pretty close to being right. Is these people were another civilization that were destroyed by some sort of like comet that like hit certain areas around the world, starting off the Younger Dryas event and what would be called the Great Flood because of all the ice melting. And when you look, and it's not just me, that the reason I'm saying these things because I'm seeing these people that are showing me videos, and you go to these certain places around the world, and like in Egypt, and it looks like something fucking hit there and exploded. Oops. Oh, right on. It didn't go fine. Exploded all these bricks and stones, like huge ones all over the place. And then when you go check these out, they're melted. So that would be like a solar flare or something, you know, like something hit. And there's other places where you'll see that it seemed like they were in the middle of building and it just stopped. Like they didn't get to finish it. Like in Bellback and stuff like that, like the Stone of the Pregnant Woman, they didn't finish getting it out of the ground. They had it all ready to come out of the ground, and then something happened. But yeah, so yeah, like I can't stand when people think like, because I used to think this way, where people think like as far back the Sumerians and Babylonians, and then like we came from caves and blah blah blah, and then if anybody ever throws at you like. Well, what about the cave art? That must mean there was caveman. Well, if the world got like wiped out and shit, right? It's getting wiped out and all that shit. You're not going to have a house no more, so some people are going to be living in caves for a while. I'm not saying that there wasn't like a primitive man, but there used like when we find all these different skeletons of these things that aren't around anymore that are almost human ape-like, they all got wiped out from that Younger Dryas. How we survived, I can't explain. And then you go to all these cultures around the world. I'm not getting biblical. Let's just take God out of this. You go to every single culture. I think there was like 600 and some odd cultures on Google Wiki there. But anyway, everyone talks about a flood. Neanderthals, here's one they just found in the last like 10 years. The Denisovans. You know the Denisovans? The fucking molar was that fucking big, man. Proving these giants, and this is not hidden, only can find on YouTube. No, this is scientifically proven and accepted, and it's in the books now. Called the Denisovans. They're like fucking 9 feet tall. They're saying, but I'm sure they got bigger. They found a molar, man. They have a picture, and it's like here's a human molar, and then they got the Denisovan one right next to it. You should check out that Denisovan stuff. Because like I said, it's not like you know, like a fringe science or it's like accepted in universities and everything. They got like bones and shit and the fucking skulls like this compared to ours. Yeah, Denisovan. Yeah, it was just found. Like I mean, people have been pulling large skeletons out of the ground forever, but they found one. I don't know. It was like in Russia or somewhere. I don't know. But it's like actually like National Geographic accepted. So they found a cave with a tooth, a fingernail, or something like that, or a fingernail. I mean, a finger bone. And they found this, Travis. Oh, wait a second. This is the best part. And this isn't hidden. It's in the whole shit. National Geographic, you know, worldwide accepted. Hang on. They found this needle. You know, like a needle has to have like a little eye hole cut through it and everything. And this needle is like carved out of like, I don't know, like some rock that you or me or a caveman could not carve it. You'd need a machine. And the other thing, there's more. With this like Denisovan ship, they found a bracelet. And it's all like, yeah, it's not like somebody just put it together with a tin hammer. It's something that you should, if you're into like curious about like that. Like I said, there's 3 species, and everybody knows us, Neanderthals or Neanderthals, I guess they're called now. And then, just like I said, they just found it like 10, 15 years ago, the Denisovans, and it's National Geographic. It's not like, one of those fringe podcast things. Oh, fuck yeah. Because this is the culture that was there before the disaster. I'm sure everybody else was kind of there and a bunch of other stuff and got wiped out. And, like, the thing is, like, the Native Americans, when the white man came over, the white man said, "Who built these burial grounds?" And the Native Americans said, "They were here when we got here." And then the smart white people wrote down Native American burial ground. And the natives said, they're not ours. And then when you found other Native American cultures, and there's lots of books, I got lots of them too. I should do some reviews of some of them. When you ask the natives, they kept their culture all the way from the day they walked in to this day. And they said when they came here, there was a bigger race that were here, and the bigger race buried their dead in those mounds. Yeah. But that's another thing too. There's been a lot of racism from the white Euros that came over and were ruling the academic side, because when they found out like that there was like big giant 9-foot natives and stuff, they didn't want nobody knowing, because that would make the natives look more superior. But then when you talk to the natives said that they were breeding with this other race, the big people. Yeah, fuck, we got some in Canada too, eh? But nowhere near like you guys. There's one that would probably be about a 3-hour drive from me, but I don't have no friends into it. I don't have anybody that's into that type of stuff, so nobody would want to go with me, and I'm not going to go alone. And you definitely would have to have somebody interested just to go see a big hill of dirt, But when I'd get there, I'd be like, oh, wow, and all this like stuff be going through my head. But yeah, in general, yeah, even to today. Like, there's this one guy that's a friend of mine. He now lives in the States. He met a girl back in the 90s when the internet started getting pretty popular. He met a girl in the States in a chat room. And he fell in love, and he moved down to Florida, and they're married with a little boy. Well, not a little boy now. He's about 10, 12 now. But my point is, he's tall, man. He's about 6'6". And my one friend nicknamed him Too Tall. So everybody to that day, right to this day, we all call him Too Tall. And it sounds like a Native American name, too. Too Tall. Fuck, he's big, though. But yeah, you're right. Pretty much, they're like about 5'6", 5'7". I don't see, when I go to like those Native American pot shops and shit and gas and stuff. They're none of them are taller than me. They're like usually about up to here on me, and I'm 5'11". Yeah, 6'6" is pretty big. Too tall was. He used to play. He didn't play ice hockey with us, but he played road hockey with us. And fuck, did he ever have long reach with that fucking big road hockey stick of his? Big, fucking 12-foot arm. Nice guy though. Quiet, and he didn't drink or none of that. None of that stereotype natives. I don't think he even smoked a cigarette. Nice guy though, very quiet. He only talked if you talked to him. I used to own a pizzeria back in the 90s. I used to give him and his best friend Brian some pretty good deals on cheesesteaks and pizza. Crazy rabbits. That's another thing. I think I'll have to find that logo and shit and make a video of that. 6'1", yeah, so I'd be looking up at you a tiny bit. I'm like 5'11", right on the nose. I thought I was 6 foot for a long time. Then one day I found out I wasn't. I was 5'11". And I was like, really? Then I was at least 6 foot. Because I had a physical in high school and it was like 6 foot. Or that's what it said. And then one time, like, I was talking to like this girl I was going out with, and we're at this thing where Burger King. Yeah, Burger King. I went up against it and I was 5'11". Yeah. It kind of did. Mostly when I found out in front of a girl. My girlfriend at the time. You're not 6 foot, you're 5'11". But then, jump ahead like 20 years later, my dad and I were in that same place, Burger King, after watching an AHL hockey game. Belleville Senators versus Toronto Marlies or the Lehigh Valley Phantoms, can't remember, but we always go and get something at Burger King after, and I looked at that same thing that I was telling you about, and it has like a measurement thing. It's for crime, eh? And I looked at the 9 foot range because I was thinking about the Giants, and I was like, holy fuck, that's big. And another time I was at McDonald's and they had the clearance and it says 9 foot. And I was thinking, man, that's big for somebody walking around. At 5'11", that's where I live. I'm probably above average for height, but there's a ton of people taller than me. But I'd say on average, out of every 10 people, I'd be like 8 or 9 on the height scale. Yeah, because a lot of people, like, I don't know, people like under 6 foot, like 5'10", 5'9". A lot of my friends aren't short, all tiny. You see him in the video, he's a couple inches shorter than me. He's a lot less intelligent. Becky's stupid sometimes. I never asked Bucky this, it just popped in my head now. How far car drive is it from you to New Mexico? Nowhere in particular, just New Mexico. That's where Bucky's from. I don't think he doesn't live in Roswell. I forget where in New Mexico he lives. I mailed him and his brother some stuff a couple years ago. I'd have to look it up on the email, but it's definitely New Mexico. Super far, eh? Hey, you're like way over here, and New Mexico's like way over down there. Yeah, I know Randy said a long time ago when I was talking to him that he said that was on his bucket list. He'd like to drive down to New Mexico because he likes he says he likes doing those big drives. He loves driving. I'm the opposite. I don't like driving. Yeah, way over there. I remember that one time you gave me shit about West Virginia and West Virginia and Virginia, and I was asking about East Virginia. No, no. And I remember after that, I looked all this shit up on Google to smarten myself up. But when I play that game, I looked up a lot of stuff on YouTube and looked up the real areas where you play the game, and man, it looks really nice there. Definitely does. Way back when, I don't know if you remember this or not, but way back when I was playing Fallout, and you popped on, and I was in Harper's Ferry, and you asked me to walk around a little bit so you could check it out. And you're like, I've been to Harper's Ferry before, and you're like, can you walk around a little bit and let me check out some stuff? And I walked by the train station, and you said that looked pretty cool. Yeah. I know Virginia's not West Virginia. I'm just saying for Virginia. I remember a lot of times watching the Waltons. Not just the Waltons. It was like in general, you got the idea that not a lot of people had money in that area. But like I said, I realize they're two different spots and not the same. Yeah, I know I never will. Just gotten too old now, but if that game came out and I was in my 20s, I guarantee you, and there was no COVID, and I was out doing videos and just like this, but I was in my 20s, I'd have a video of me and a buddy going, like, definitely going to West Virginia. I would book 2 weeks off, save the money up, and when my buddy was ready, away we'd go. Because nobody else would want to go with us. We'd just go because me and him both play Fallout. Yeah, I like Middle of Nowhere. I got no problem with that. No problem with that at all. I have no problem with that at all. Just like to have some internet. Kind of gets to a point where you're pretty hooked on the internet for stuff. Yeah, we had this event for the last 2-3 weeks on the game. It was this event at Point Pleasant. It was like a Mothman Equinox thing where you had to go out on a public server, and everybody's like, it's like all the players are there, like all over the place. Like I play on a private server, just me, or if I invite my friend or whatever, or whoever I want, but. Yeah, so we did this public event called the Mothman Equinox in Point Pleasant. One day I'll have to walk through there and let you see what that looks like. They got the statue and everything there in the little store. I've seen some comparison videos, and I think they did a pretty good job. Of course, not like super accurate, you know. I'm sure there'll be some people who'll be like, oh, but no. I can't remember. I don't have this person on my I didn't subscribe to him, but they did like a split screen where it shows you the video game here, and then the real place here. It's kind of neat. Yeah, to me, that's a fuck of a drive. I have friends that wouldn't even blink an eye. For me, I wouldn't even like that as a passenger. That's a long drive. Fucking right it is. 6 hours. Boy, could you get a 6 hours? I'd almost get you fucking out east, where I live. Got a few more hours on there. You can't hear it because it's copyrighted, but on my game, they're playing they're playing the the national anthem of the South, the Confederates used to have, but they're not singing, just like do 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 do. Because in this game, like there's some teams from the South. There's only one Canadian team. It's from Quebec, and they're really good. The team that I use, you can only for story. Oh, you can hear. Isn't that the southern? Is that the southern anthem or what the hell is that? Do do do. I should know this. You know this? What this is? It's something south. I don't know. The team I have is based in. Yeah, the team that I have, you automatically get this team that's. Where's it from? Just 1 second. From Pennsylvania. Let me just look at it. Pottsville, Pennsylvania. When you go into story mode, you can't like pick your team. You just get this team from Pottsville, Pennsylvania, the Hinto Brews. And I don't know if you ever watched the movie Slapshot, but even if you don't like hockey, even if you don't like hockey, you should watch it. It has Paul Newman in it, and it's kind of like based off of that movie, where the team like is terrible. When you take the team, when you're a player and you play your first game, the team has already lost 11 games in a row. So, and the team's going broke and losing sponsorship and blah, blah, blah. I've never seen it. Well, if you're ever bored and sticks in your head, one day on YouTube, put down Slapshot National Anthem. And then you'll see a pretty funny clip. Man, that's actually I do know a couple people that live in Canada. They're Canadians. They don't like hockey, but they like that movie because it's a comedy, eh? And it's like the golden grail of movies for hockey. Like, there's nobody that's ever played serious hockey that's ever not seen that. Slapshot. They got these three brothers. One of them actually played in the NHL. Not very many games, wasn't very good, but they're called the Hanson brothers, the three of them. And they're like, all got glasses and tape and shit, and they're like, all they do is like play dirty, fight, and cheat. Yeah, the Mighty Duck movie, I remember that. I forgot all about that one. That was okay. But Slapshot puts that down, right down the ground. Yeah, the Mighty Ducks, yeah. I remember, it wasn't that long ago, a couple of years ago, at the most. They had, see my MSN's my homepage on my computer, because like that's my to check my mail and stuff, eh? And they have these like little news feeds. And one of the news feeds one day was I don't know his name, it don't matter, but the guy that played the goalie for the Mighty Ducks, that he was like a fat kid in the movie. He was like up on like drug charges or something, like a bunch of drug charges or something. And I clicked the link and read it, and I was like, he wasn't a skinny fat looking guy in the mugshot no more. Or I mean a fat looking goalie in the mugshot no more. He's like all skinny. Well, originally they weren't. I do believe that originally the movie was before the team. I'm pretty sure. Actually, now I'm curious. What came first? The franchise was formed in 1993. The movie came out in 1992. So yeah, they're still a team, but they're not called the Mighty Ducks no more. They're called the Anaheim Ducks. They took away the Mighty. And they used to have that really cool. Their logo used to have the goalie mask. It was like a 1970s old-fashioned mask, but in the face of a duck. I loved it. I bought the jersey back in the 90s. I have the jersey still. It's hung up in the other room with all my other jerseys. But yeah, and then they got rid of it. And now they're just called Anaheim Ducks, and their logo looks stupid. I actually liked them for a little bit. But yeah, they're still a team. I think they're in first place in their division right now. If not, second place. One of my really good friends is a big Duck fan. The year they came out, he fell right in love with them. Because of the movie, probably. Alrighty, man, you take care. Yeah, I'm just going to play a little more hockey and then figure out what I'm going to do for supper. So you have a good one, man. We'll talk to you next time. Yeah, nice talking to you too, bud. I'm going to go back and play a little hockey for another half hour or so. So you have a good one. Thanks for popping by. Always like talking to you, bud. Yeah, he's a good guy. Definitely a good guy, Travis is. It's funny, I seem to get along better with Americans than I do with Canadians on YouTube. Weird. I don't know. I don't care. It just doesn't really matter where you're from. Good person's a good person.
Welcome to Centre Sportif de Boyce. The Schuylkill Hinto Brews are looking to keep up in the standings and stay in the playoff race with a win tonight.
Icing on the plate. Sterling wins the face. Madison takes a chance. Oh! Sterling delivers a huge hit. Madison. Delivers another hit. The Hinto Brew get the momentum. Goff on a breakaway. He gets a stick on it. Walters from the slot. He stacks the pass. And it goes wide. To O'Sullivan. To Keister. He loses the puck. Let's it go. Boom! William knocks him down. Here's a break. William fires the puck. Hugh makes a save. Point. Wow! The point gets laid out, and he's taking time to get back up. Williams lets go a cannon, scores! Wow! Nice hard shot.
The Schuylkill Hinto Brews
Have taken the lead. And Beaulieu stops it. To Jace. To Gaspar. Shoots! Glove save! Watch out! Gaspar gets leveled, and he's lying there motionless. To Blair, hit the post! Watch out! Ace blocks him. To Drew, to Blair. Another great chance. They're controlling the play in this one. Scores! And it's in the net! Got a lot of wood on that one. Les Boyeux tie the game. It's off the iron. Oh, Richardson came dead hard onto the ice to Williams. That's the end of the first period. Les Boyeux de Quebec 1.
The Schuylkill Hinto Brews
1. And Chief wins the draw to O'Sullivan. Goes to the point. Stoker rips one. Oh, Walters knocks him down. This could trigger a brawl. And the puck goes the length of the ice. To Jarvis. To Giovanni. To Richardson. Shoots him low. Missed the target. Point. Takes a chance. They get rid of the laundry and get down to business. William with a solid right. William with a solid left. That will do it. The crowd is unhappy to see this one going this way, as he took a couple of bad punches in this tilt. Now they drop the mitts. Wow! O'Sullivan nails him with an uppercut. Kenton wins the face. To Banner, to Keister. Boom! LaRue nails him. Now LaRue dumps the puck. An official just got his bell rung. Keister clears the puck in. To LaRue, to LaPointe, to Gaspar. Watch out! Gaspar goes down. He looks to be in pain after that collision. To O'Sullivan. Takes a chance. You got a piece of it. To LaPointe, to Gendron. From in front. Scores! What a beauty. The goalie was badly beaten on that one. Les Voyous de Quebec are now in the lead. Mason grips one. Oh! Leclerc gets laid out to Gaspar. Gaspar fires the puck. Boom! Score! Wow, he picked the right spot. Les Voyous de Quebec extend their lead. Wow! O'Sullivan gets demolished with the hit. Oh, he sent his own teammate flying. Oh! LaRose is decked hard onto the ice to Banner. Wow! Walters blocks him. Les Voyous are getting output in this game. Scores! Oh, baby! The goalie should have had that one.
The Schuylkill Pinto Brews
Are still behind, but are cutting into the lead. Watch out! LaRose gets knocked down. Someone's got to drop the gloves after that one. Giovanni shoots. Petit makes a save. He's energetic. That's the end of the second period. Les Voyous de Quebec 3,
The Schuylkill Pinto Brews
2. Now Fenton wins the draw. Oh! Madison gets clocked. The officials stop the play for an extra. Fenton wins the faceoff. Wow! Madison gets knocked down, and he's not going to take much more of this. And Madison wins the draw. Watch out! Banner levels him out. I don't think he saw that coming. And the shot by Fenton. Great save. Boom! LaRue gets laid out. Les Voyous are being pushed around. Scores! Now that was a good goal. He picked the right spot. The Hinto Brew managed to tie the game. Sterling wins the faceoff. O'Sullivan dumps the puck. To Leclerc. He's in all alone. They get rid of the laundry and get down to business. G with a big left. He caves in. The fans are visibly upset after that exchange, and it did not take much to get him down. Kenton wins the draw. Lets it go. The puck gets blocked. Wow! O'Sullivan knocks him down. I don't think he saw that coming. To Fenton. To O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan clears the puck into the zone. To Gendron. To Stoner. Fires the puck. Scores! Wow! Goalie was badly beaten on that one. Les Voyous de Quebec take the lead in this game. Oh my! Now a few fights have broken out. He got him with a vicious tomahawk. And this ought to be a 10. Ace with a
unhappy to see this one going this way, as he took a couple of bad punches in this tilt. Here we go. Walters with a huge left. Walters with a nasty right. That will do it. The cheers are turning into boos after this exchange, as he's shaken up from this fight. Now we're going to have a square-off. Oh, he just knocked him out.
Good boy, Barney.
Monahan wins the face. The refs are sending someone to the box. Won't be happy about that one. It's 2 minutes for cross-check. To Mason. Letting it go. He stacks the pads. To Ewell. To Gendron. To Jarvis. To the point. Watch out! Eric lays him out. He blocked it away. They have them hemmed in their own zone. Ewell fires the puck. Hit the post. To Monahan. To Ace. Whoa! Jarvis gets leveled, and he looks hurt. Fires the puck. Boom! LaRue is decked hard onto the ice. Another chance.
Yes.
Scores! Oh, what a goal! He picked the right spots. The Hinto Brews even the score. Chief wins the draw. O'Sullivan shoots, and Beaulieu makes the stop. Huge stop. Boom! Gendron goes down. Now a fight is breaking out. O'Sullivan with a big left. It's over.
No, we're going to
Crowd
push some trophies,
outcome
yeah.
of this exchange. And he's already covering his face after only a few shots. Jarvis wins the face. Wow! Ewell is knocked down. Colliman is head down. We've got a tie. Les Voyous de Quebec.
If I won,
The Schuylkill Hinto Brews.
that would have been it. Means I gotta do it again.
Welcome to Centre Sportif de Boyce. The Schuylkill Hinto Brews are looking to keep up in the standings and stay in the playoff race with a win tonight. Oh! O'Sullivan delivers a huge hit, and he's taking time to get back up. Kick save. Oh, he sent his own teammate flying. To Madison. Goff dumps the puck. Icing on the play. Fenton wins the face. Wow! Fenton knocks him down, and he isn't moving. To Claire. Shoots him low. Hit the post. Huge stop. To Chase. To Giovanni. Takes a shot from behind the net. Another great chance. Oh! Giovanni gets laid out. To Mason. To Keister. From the spot.
Yes.
Scores! Wow! Nice hard shot. The Schuylkill Pinto Brews have taken the lead. Sterling wins the draw. Boom! Sterling with a huge hit. And that was downright vicious. Boom! LaRue gets level. And that was downright vicious. Scores! What a beauty. The goalie was badly beaten on that one. The Schuylkill Pinto Brews extend their lead. Oh! Ace nails him. Watch out. Madison gets knocked down. I don't think he saw that coming. An official just got his bell rung. To Goff. Let's go again. Hugh takes a save. To Gendron. To Madison. Wow! Chief lays him out. And he's taking time to get back up. They get rid of the laundry and get down to business. Banner with a solid right. Banner with a solid left. Madison with a solid right. That will do it. The fans love it. As it only took a few shots to finish this fight, it looks like these two are going to go at it. Sterling with a solid left. It's over. Both benches are fired up on this one. That only took a few good shots. Fenton wins the faceoff. To Keister. With a big shot, kick save. Another chance. They're controlling the play in this one. To Chase. To Blair. Oh! O'Sullivan levels him out. Chase clears the puck into the zone. Wow! William delivers a huge hit. That's the end of the first period. The Schuylkill Pinto Brews 2, Les Voyous de Quebec 0. Blair wins the draw. The Pinto Brews get the momentum. Watch out! William knocks him down. Les Voyous are getting out-hit in this game. And a slap shot from Keister. And Beaulieu saves it to Richardson. Richardson from in front. Boom! Monahan with a huge hit. This could trigger a brawl. It's going to be offside. Fenton wins the faceoff. And the shot high. William! Watch out! Stoner gets dropped. Les Voyous are being pushed around in this one. Petit with a glove save. To Monahan. Watch out! Stoner with a heavy hit. Madison wins the draw. Wow! Great save. Petit to Barrett. And now the fists are going to fly. Mason with a big left. This one comes to an end. Boy, they love it here. You've got to love it. Boy, those were some big punches. Put up your dukes. We've got to fight. Chief with a nasty left. Sterling with a big right. And this one is over. The crowd is unhappy to see this one going this way, as he took a couple of bad punches in this tilt. Now Chief wins the faceoff. Oh! Leclerc nails him. Oh, he takes out his own teammate. Jenner takes a chance. Are you kidding me? Scores! Wow, he picked the right spot. Les Voyous de Quebec are still behind, but are cutting into the lead. Oh! Fenton levels him out. He got knocked into another area code. Wow! William lays him out. Les Voyous are being out-hit in this game. The Pinto Brews are on fire. To Fenton. Fenton lets it go. Scores! What a beauty! He put a lot of mustard on it. The Schuylkill Hutto Blues continue to add to their lead. O'Sullivan clears the puck in. And now we've got a fight. G comes with a right hook. Down they go.
Think that while
Unfortunately,
you're
got
down
the bad
there.
end of that exchange, as he's curled up right now after only a handful of punches.
Down you go.
Fenton wins the draw. Boom! O'Sullivan gets laid out. An official just got knocked down. Lets it go, and it goes wide. It's the last minute of the period. Eric takes a chance. Somehow that stayed out to Uhl. Watch out! Uhl gets blocked. Levoyu getting out in this game. That's the end of the second period. The Schuylkill Hutto Blues 3, Levoyu de Quebec 1. And Madison wins the paint. Watch out! Madison gets demolished with a hit. Levoyu are being out-muscled in this one. LaRue rips one.
Fuck.
Scores!
What the hell was I
Oh,
doing?
baby! Just too fast for the goal. Levoyu de Quebec answer with a goal. To Walters. Watch out! Walters gets blocked. To Glenn. Wow! William delivers a huge hit. Levoyu are being out-hit in this game. And a point shot from William to Blair. From in close, Petit uses the blocker. To Walters. Walters dumps it in. To Madison. To Dendron. Oh, he sends his own teammate flying. He throws another hit to Richardson. Richardson shoots it in. Benton shoots. Kick save. Oh, Barrett with a heavy hit. I don't think he saw that. Oh, Lapointe gets knocked down, and he's taking time to get back up. Huge stop. And Dendron lets it go. Oh my, now a few fights have broken out. Monahan goes left and connects. Madison with a big left. That will do it. The fans aren't happy about this one, as his opponent beat him rather easily in this round. They get rid of the laundry and get down to business. William with a big left. Lapointe with a nasty hook. Oh, Lapointe nails him with an uppercut. Right now, we've got a battle. Walters comes with a left hook. Walters with a nasty hook. It's over. The fans are visibly upset after that exchange. And he's already covering his face after only a few shots. Oh, he just... They're going to drop the gloves and go. O'Sullivan with a nasty right. Uhl with a huge left. Wow! Uhl right there with the uppercut. Here we go. Fenton with a big right. Gaspar with a solid right. Oh! Gaspar nails him with an uppercut. That will do it. He'll bring home the victory, as it only took a few shots to finish this fight. Now Fenton wins the draw. Oh! Leclerc absolutely levels him. Wow! Gets flat, Levoyu. Now have the momentum. To Yates. Chris and great save. To Fenton. To Banner. To Gaspar. To Chase. Takes a chance. He denies him. To Goff. Let's go a slapper. Kicks Schuylkill Hinto Brews. 3. Les Voyous de Quebec. 2.